Good morning. I'm Amelia Smith with Coast Properties Group, eXp Realty, and Old Town Bandon, Oregon. And today I want to talk to you about the listing contract, and specifically about the clause where you, the seller, negotiates the listing agent commission and possibly the buyer's agent commission. Most of you by now are probably familiar with the National Association of Realtors lawsuit that precluded a seller from agreeing up front to pay the buyer's agent a fee. And in fact, when the offer came in, it came with a request for the buyer's agent's fee in the contract, and it became negotiable. We were led to believe, or our clients were led to believe that commissions before that point were not negotiable. Well, in fact, they were. Right up until the day escrow closes, you could always negotiate your commission. You still can. Then it became precluded for the seller to agree to pay a buyer's commission. The listing contract negotiated the commission to be paid to the listing agent, but not the buyer's agent. And so the buyer's agent had to submit an offer which included their fee, their commission, and then that became negotiable through the offer process. Then it was determined that sellers may want to offer a buyer's agent commission from the very beginning. And the contracts were changed so that a seller could agree to pay not only the listing agent's commission but the buyer's agent's commission. That's in effect today, but we don't publish the available buyer's agent's commission in the multiple listing service. So if a buyer's agent calls me and says, is the seller willing to pay a commission? I can say yes. And if the buyer's agent asks me what amount the seller is willing to pay, I can tell them. You do not have to agree in the listing contract to pay the buyer's agent. The seller can still wait to see what comes in the offer and make it negotiable. And regardless of what the seller says up front in the listing contract, the commissions, the fees to both sides are still negotiable right up until the day that escrow closes, just as they've always been. It's, in my opinion, it's in the seller's best interest to offer a commission to the buyer's agent, because by the time most buyers buy property, they don't have any money left over to pay a buyer's agent's commission. So it might enhance your ability, it might widen your buyer pool, a seller's buyer pool, to offer a buyer's agent's commission up front from the very beginning. And in fact, that's what we're seeing most often. This sounds more complicated than it really is. What the lawsuit really did was initiate a broader, more comprehensive, more complete discussion of commissions between agents and their clients, agents and our clients. So you have options, everything is negotiable. And as I say it sounds more complicated than it really is. So if you have any questions at all about this or anything else, give me a call. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.